Hello everybody. Hello again, you in ACIM Gatherland, and now hello to those of you who will be watching this video on YouTube. Okay, first thing I want to start out is I want to make an apology. I've been guided to make an apology. I want to make an apology to Ted Poppy because on my program on ACIM Gather on Friday, I said that he had been saying something that wasn't true, fraudulent, about Lisa Natoli and Bill Free. And what I have now found out is that depending on how you interpret the message, it actually is true. So I apologize to Ted sincerely. Didn't mean to be spreading false information about you, and I apologize to you on ACIM Gather. I made a mistake. I am sorry. That is my apology. That's for the record. Okay. Thank you. In the reading that we had here, it's a reading that's always meant a lot to me. It's in that first paragraph. It says, "Only the different can attack. And therefore it is necessary that you have other experiences more in line with truth to teach you what is natural and true." So it's that idea of having other experiences and other experiences which would show us that we're not different. We're not different from each other. We are actually one with each other. And we need to have as many of those other experiences as we can have. And I believe the way to have these other experiences is actually the simple teaching that A Course in Miracles gives to us about miracles themselves. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. This idea about the experience that we're having and having the A Course in Miracles experience, what exactly does it mean, came to my mind a lot recently when I went to the A Course in Miracles conference in Midway, Utah. It was an Easter conference, so over Easter weekend I was in Midway, Utah at the A Course in Miracles conference. And Jimmy Twyman was running that conference. And he encouraged everybody to really go for the experience of A Course in Miracles and not to get caught in the intellectualization of A Course in Miracles. And everybody always kind of like nods their head in agreement about that, except I'm not so sure what that means. I think people experience A Course in Miracles very differently, and what I might call the A Course in Miracles experience is maybe not what somebody else might call the A Course in Miracles experience. So what is the experience of studying A Course in Miracles? Or when do you know that you've had an experience that would indicate that something has changed? So what I think a confusion is some people want this experience of really losing their sense of separate identity. They want an experience of just feeling one with the universe, one with their sisters and brothers, one with the divine, with God, however you want to describe that. And I think that's terrific. A Course in Miracles talks about that as what it calls revelation. And it has some things to say about revelation. It says revelation induces complete but temporary suspension of doubt and fear. So yeah, of course, all of us want to have a complete, even if it's temporary, suspension of doubt and fear. I think many of us, I know myself, I have doubt and fear in the back of my mind. I would like to have a complete suspension of that. It also says revelation unites souls directly with God. Yeah, of course, we want that. But then it says something, it says miracles unite minds directly with each other. This is A Course in Miracles. It's not A Course in Revelation. And I think when people say, I want to have that experience, they're really going for some godly, transcendent, euphoric, difficult to describe in words, sense of merging with the divine. And I understand that. Who wouldn't want that? We all want those peak experiences. This is not a course in having those peak experiences. This is A Course in Miracles, and it compares miracles with revelation. So revelation unites souls directly with the divine. Miracles unite minds directly with each other. So miracles are interpersonal. They're just between me and you. Me and you out on Gatherland. Me and you out there in YouTube land. miracles. It's a sense of joining with our fellow brothers and sisters. And A Course in Miracles defines miracles a lot, especially in the first chapter. And what it says is that miracles are expressions of love. Miracles are simple things. Miracles aren't these huge, transcendent, lofty, cosmic experiences. Maybe they will happen with the study of A Course in Miracles. Maybe they will not. But that's not the purpose, I believe, of the discipline. The purpose of the discipline is not to give us those kinds of godly experiences. The purpose of A Course in Miracles is for us to express love to other brothers and sisters and to feel the love in return. So we are all here, gathered at a Sunday gathering, and gathered through the internet. We are here. And I know when I came in, I was feeling a little guilty because I was late. And Reverend Kelly, who was here early waiting for me because we had some stuff to do, just really looked at me with love, and I apologized, and she said, "It's okay, don't worry about it." She just extended me a miracle. That was it. That was an expression of love. She wasn't going to buy into my feeling guilty, and I am frequently late. I'm sure it's really annoying. But she could have said something about that. Maybe she will at some other moment. But at that moment, she just welcomed me. She just extended love and acceptance and glad to see me energy. And to me, that's what a miracle is. That little moment of oneness, connection, joining, one mind to another, an expression of love. I really appreciate that. Reverend Deuce Althea was here. And she was, getting ready, getting the coffee ready, getting the croissants ready, getting the fruit ready, coming in, giving me a smile, giving me a little kiss every once in a while, which is appropriate for me and Reverend Deuce out there. For those of you who might not know, on ACIM Gather, Reverend Deuce Althea is a significant other of mine, has been for going on 26 years now. So, but just to have her here doing that, not only extending love to me, but extending love to all of us here by getting the refreshments and the coffee and the fruit and the croissants ready. And there's more back there after the gathering, so please help yourself. When I come into the office in the morning, Reverend Kelly again gives me a nice hello, and her lovely little dog, Curie, is there. And sometimes Curie comes out to greet me too, not always, but sometimes Curie does, and it's just little expressions of love. And those are the things actually that I really relish. I want as much of that in my life as I can possibly get. I want those kind of moments to happen all throughout the day. And they can. They're actually pretty easy to manufacture. If you give that energy, people generally give that energy back to you. We've got a little pizza shop around where the office is on Union Street, in Extreme Pizza. And what I have discovered, I don't eat pizza, but they have the best chicken wings I think I've found of any pizza places will frequently have chicken wings. Extreme Pizza, the best chicken wings. So once or twice a week I go into Extreme Pizza and buy the chicken wings. And there's the woman who works there. Her name is Judy. And she's just always really, really friendly to me. And she just says, "Hello, Reverend Tony, how are you today?" And she makes sure I get my merchant discount on my chicken wings. And she always just says a good word or two to me. And when those things happen to me during my day, I have the A Course in Miracles experience. I just have that experience of feeling one and joined and connected and loved, and that's what I want. I had an experience this week at a little coffee shop I go to, Illy. Yeah, there's a little Illy coffee shop, right, very, very close. And I've been going there for a while, and there's a young African-American woman. She must be all of 25 or 30. Big earrings and kind of a little bit of an outlandish hair. And I remember when I first saw her, she was interesting to look at, but I had that thought in the mind, I probably don't have a lot in common with her. My life experience, her life experience, probably very, very different. And I was always really friendly to her, and what I noticed is, this week, One time, as I was coming in, she perked up a little bit and said hi to me. And she seemed to be talking to me a little bit more. So, of course, I talked to her a little bit more. Nice day. What a beautiful day. It was really warm this week. It's just like summer out. And she goes, yeah, it's really summer. So we started having a little exchange. And I think it was Friday I went there, and she looked at me and she goes, you're in here almost every day. She goes, you work all the time? And I said, well, I work almost every day. I don't work every day. And I says, then I, got to come in for my coffee. I says, I just want it small. I says, because, it's in the middle of the day. She goes, you never drink more coffee than that? She goes, I say I drink more coffee than that in the morning. And she goes, well, you don't drink it here. And I says, well, no, I drink it at home. And she goes, oh. And so I had this little exchange with this woman who was the barista, just giving me my coffee. A woman that I remember thinking a month or two ago that I don't have anything in common with this woman, probably just our look and just our presentation, probably, there isn't a lot there. And yet, in that moment, Friday, I felt really won and joined and connected and accepted and loved by her because we were just exchanging pleasantries. They were just these little expressions of love, and it was just blessed. And for me, that's the experience of A Course in Miracles, just those little blessed moments. A Course in Miracles says teaching is done in many ways, by formal means, by guidance, and above all by example. So by formal means, I'm giving a talk, I'm giving a teaching, you're listening to it on ACIM Gather, you're listening to it here in person, maybe you're watching the video on YouTube. So this is a formal way we teach, and it's good, it's important, we need to do this. But then it's the other two things that are sort of interesting, by guidance. Just by us following our guidance, we are teaching. I was guided to continue extending little gestures of friendship and love with the barista there at Illy. And eventually, we did connect. I'm sure we were always connected, but we had more and more experiences of actually connecting so that we could joke with each other and laugh with each other, and she can give me a little attitude and it's fun. That happened, and I think that's good, and that's just by following guidance. So we teach just by following our guidance, and then it says, and above all, by example. So the greatest way that we teach is just by how we live our lives. Just, there is no higher teaching than that. The teaching that I'm doing right now is great, it's part of the process, but the greatest teaching is really just how we follow guidance and we live our lives. Oh, here it is. Had a situation that was disturbing this week. It's still a little disturbing to me. I am an administrator on a very large Course in Miracles Facebook group. And by large, I mean it's got 12,350 members right now. So I'm one of the administrators. There's 4 of us active administrators. And the group has always had a reputation of being rather outspoken and sometimes pretty contentious. It's amazing, Course in Miracles people, but they get pretty feisty and sometimes, I would say, actually pretty mean-spirited. And people get very, very confrontive. And I'm always there with a voice of trying to calm people down. And this week, I just went totally out of control. All these things were happening. It went totally out of control to the point where I felt people were getting attacked. So I actually had to delete somebody from the group. Of course, when I deleted somebody from the group, all of this stuff got projected onto me, and I'd done this terrible thing. And so for the last 3 or 4 days, that has dominated this group. It's very, very active. I mean, there's posts constantly on this group. It's got 12,350 people. And I just feel that I want those pleasant experiences. I mean, people tell me that you just want the crystals and rainbow stuff, and I don't think I do, but I just want to feel the connection. I want to feel accepted. I want to feel loved. And I feel it's my job there to create that atmosphere. And I think if somebody is there really working against that atmosphere, then that's not what the purpose of the group is. And if they won't change, then sometimes you do have to tell somebody they have to have a timeout. I've never done that before. It's the first time in all my time of being administrator of that group that I've had to do that. But I think we need to look at our words and the effect that they may have on people. I believe that. Even though you can always say, it's your interpretation of what I am saying. You know, if you think I'm attacking, the attack is in your mind. Yeah, I know all that high level, A Course in Miracles, theory and teaching. But the greatest way that we can teach is just by example, and I think that example is just to be loving and not to do things that induce fear in people. And so there is this type of teaching that some people have where they feel it's their job to confront, just really, really shake you and confront you and then look at your reaction. So that is a form of teaching, I know, that exists in some disciplines. I just don't think that is the A Course in Miracles. I don't think that's the experience of A Course in Miracles. The Course says this means that a miracle, to attain its full efficacy, that means its full effectiveness, it must be expressed in a language that the recipient can understand without fear. So if your presentation and your teaching and your words strike fear in people, it's not the most effective way to be a miracle teacher. It's not the most effective way to demonstrate. It's not, I believe, an expression of love. Though I've seen people do it and say that they are expressing love because they're expressing love to you by giving you the opportunity to shift your perception and let go of your blocks. And I know it, but to me that's a real kind of convoluted logic that's just giving the person permission to be pretty nasty. And I don't feel that is what A Course in Miracles is teaching. I think A Course in Miracles is a much gentler, more loving approach, more merciful. The Course says God offers only mercy. Your words should reflect only mercy because that is what you have received and that is what you should give. So our words should always be merciful, and words that induce fear in people or continued attacks, they just don't feel merciful for me. I don't care how people are trying to twist it and describe it and throw it back on me as my perception. I believe that in society, when I go to Extreme Pizza and when I go to Italy, if I'm confrontive, it's not going to work. You know, they're going to kick me out. They're not going to allow that in the public marketplace. Now, I can tell them that I have love in my heart and that's why I'm doing this, but there's societal norms that just aren't going to accept that. And you're not going to get that pleasant little interaction I had with the barista at Italy when you do that. And that's what I want. When Jimmy Twyman said, go for the experience, that's what I did at that conference. I just had as many loving expressions of joy and connection with the people that I could have. And I think it's important for us to do that as often as possible. That's why we gather together. I mean, we're a small local group, but you add it to the people that are listening on ACIM Gather, you add it to the people that are watching the YouTube videos, and we're actually much larger. And the more that continue to gather, the stronger these ideas become. The more that continue to gather, the more merciful and loving I believe we can be if we choose that as the foundation for what we are doing. The Course says thoughts increase by being given away. The more who believe in them, the stronger they become. So it is important, I believe, to give these loving ideas and thoughts away so that more can accept them, so that more can really connect with them. So I'm giving it to all of you today. I'm giving it to all of those on Gather. Let's just be more loving. Let's just be more merciful. Let's seize all the opportunities that we can. And let's see that that's what this whole discipline really is about. It's not about a theology per se. It's about having an experience. Course in Miracles says, my own injunction, do this in remembrance of me, is a request for cooperation among miracle workers. Jesus, if we accept that Jesus is the person who channeled A Course in Miracles through Helen Schuckman, or was the voice that came through Helen Schuckman, is asking for us to cooperate with him. He's asking for us to really realize how we are not different from other people. Regardless of what we may think, regardless of our appearances, regardless of the differences in age and presentation and maybe even the racial difference that our bodies may have, we are not actually different from other people, and that if we come from that perspective and keep following guidance, we can continue to have experiences that show us that, miracles, expression of love, and Jesus wants us to cooperate with him in generating as many of those experiences as possible. In another place it says, theological considerations as such are necessarily, but not a universal, theological considerations as such are not necessary, but a universal experience is not only possible, but necessary. It is this experience toward which the Course is directed. So we're not here to have a universal theological experience. We're here to, theology. We're here to have a universal experience. So we can talk about the theory of A Course in Miracles, and nobody's going to agree on that. But the experience of A Course in Miracles, we can agree on. And that's what we need to try to have. So let us all go for that loving expression of kindness. Let's try to get as many smiles and blessings and hugs and connections as we can. Jesus wants our cooperation. We're never going to have a universal theology, but we can have a universal experience, and I believe that universal experience is the expression of love. That's the other experience that is necessary for us to have. I think we have it here every time we gather. I encourage you on Gather to come back every Sunday and spread this thought and this idea out there with all our interactions. That's my talk for today. Thank you very much.